evening. We got a full house today. We don't know how to act with this many people. We're going to start with prayer and pledge. Our prayer will be led by, which one? Monique. Councilwoman Monique Lamar Sylvia.
If you all would bow your heads, and if you would like to join in prayer. Lord, we thank you right now for today, Father God. Lord, we thank you for your people. Lord, we thank you for your people that are trying to make a difference. Lord, we thank you for the people that are gathered here together. Father God, I'm asking that you would give us the wisdom and the knowledge to continue to make correct decisions as it pertains to the city of Saginaw. Look on each and every one of us, Father God. In Jesus' name, amen.
We'll have the pledge led by Councilman Copeland.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
better than outside. Yes, I know.
Again, good evening to everyone. This is a public meeting, and the audience is asked to remain quiet. No speaking, no interruption, no booing, no clapping. All of that is allowed during public comments and during the meeting. I need to remind everybody, especially my colleagues, cell phones on silent. People in the audience, I need you to put yours on silence as well, please. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Lamar Sylvia.
Present.
Councilmember Williams is absent. Councilmember Bench.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Balls.
Present.
Councilmember Scherzer is excused. Councilmember Ostash.
Present.
Councilmember Flores.
Here.
Councilmember Copeland.
Present.
Mayor Moore.
Present.
We have 7 members present and 2 absent.
Do we have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor, I do. July 26th at 4:00 p.m. That's the deadline to file for City Council. There will be 4 4-year terms on the November 8th ballot. Petitions and affidavit of identity forms are available at the City Clerk's office Monday through Friday from 8 o'clock in the morning till 4:00 p.m. in the afternoon. And July 26th at 4:00 p.m. is the deadline to file for Saginaw School District Board. There will be 2 6-year terms each on the November 8th ballot. Only the school board candidates have the option to pay a non-refundable $100 filing fee or to file the petitions with the affidavit of identity. You have to file your documents at the city clerk's office. All petition filings must be on their original forms and are available during regular hours previously stated. Also, City Hall will be closed Monday, July 4th for the Independence Day holiday. Mayor, that takes us to public hearings.
We have a public hearing. Madam Clerk.
Would you like to read the rules for the hearing?
Oh, I'm sorry. The purpose of a public hearing is for the public to address the council as a whole and for council to hear the information provided by the speaker for consideration regarding specific actions being requested. Speakers must limit their remarks to the subject of the public hearing. Please begin by stating your name and your position, whether you support or oppose what the public hearing is. The first speaker will be allowed, which will be considered the main speaker. You're allowed to do 10 minutes. Other speakers after that have 3 minutes. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Our public hearing tonight is regarding the request to establish an obsolete property rehabilitation district at 101 North Washington Avenue and 111 East Genesee Avenue.
Good evening, Mr. Miller.
Good evening.
Need to call for comments, Mayor?
I need
First
to,
call.
you're right. Is there anyone who to speak to this public hearing? Is there anyone to speak?
I'm here, Madam Mayor. Good morning, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, Manager Morales. My name is Tom Miller. I'm the Vice President for Saginaw Future, the Economic Development Agency for the City of Saginaw. I'm here today to speak in favor of the creation of the Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act, better known as OPRA District, for the Huntington Bank building. As you know, OPRAs are essentially a freeze on the taxes on dilapidated buildings. The new owner still pays the existing tax, they just don't pay an increase as a result of their investment. Many times, these structures have been vacant for decades, leaving investors to face daunting unknown development costs, including environmental remediation, water and mold damage, structural uncertainty. Oftentimes, as in this case in the project, the future proposed use is completely different from the previous use. This adds inherent reconfiguration costs, which are not typical to new construction. All of these are a disincentive to invest in a new project. A little bit about this project specifically. This is the main Huntington Bank building. It's a historic building, 162 feet tall, construction finished in 1925. It's 170,000 square feet. The proposed project calls for 120 unit market rate residential offerings, including some commercial space on the first couple of floors. This is a $45 million project, and if everything goes according to plan, tenants will begin moving in May of 2025. You probably have seen or read the MLive article, the developer of this project, Michigan Community Capital. This is the first step, so we're forming the district today. This is a super complicated project for a number of different reasons. One is the cost. $45 million is for 120 units is very expensive, so we helped out and you approved an OPRA on the Bancroft and Eddy project. That was about an $8 million investment for the same number of units, so 120 units for $8 million. This one is 45, probably closer to 48 at this point for the same number of units. I was talking with the news today, and you may ask, well, why are you coming today to ask for the OPRA establishment of the OPRA district? It's key that we move all of these things together at the same time, so we're pursuing OPRA brownfield incentives as well as incentives from the state. All of these things have to move in concert while the group Michigan Community Capital continues to pursue all of the financing necessary to complete the project. So that's the end of my comments, but I will be here during the resolution for questions. And the developer is out of Lansing, and then the main lady who is working on the project is out of Traverse City. So they will be here multiple times over the next couple months to address different incentives, and they'll be here to answer questions as well. This is just the first public hearing on the OPRA. Thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak on this subject? Is there anyone else to speak on this subject? Last and final time. Is there anyone else to speak on this subject? I need a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, our next order of business is public input.
I'd like to welcome all of you who signed up to address the council tonight. Please speak slowly and clearly so that we don't miss what you're saying. You may be called to the podium by the city clerk, and you will have 3 minutes to present your topic. The clerk will be timing you. Remember, we need to remain calm and courteous because we are being shown on SGTV and along with the people in the audience. So once again, I'm asking for everybody to be respectful. You may not like what they're saying, but I don't need you to boo, in other words, okay? Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Our first speaker tonight is Irie Sample.
Ms. Mr. Sample here?
Don't see Irie. Okay. Next on our list is Thomas Roy.
I'm here.
Yes, please come forward.
Thank you. I'm Thomas Roy. I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. I'm also the president of Saginaw Area Fireworks. I'm not sure if you know that organization, but we throw on the fireworks every July 4th. So I'd like to thank the mayor, the pro tem, and council members for allowing me to speak. Our fireworks is going to be held July 4th, Monday, which is of course going to be held on the Zilwaukee Bridge, and we're going to start the proceedings with the raising of the flag, which is a 50 by 80 flag. We're going to have former clerk Diane Mackel sing the Star Spangled Banner, and then we're going to also have Senator Ken Horn do the Pledge of Allegiance. After that, we're going to probably start the festivities around 4 o'clock, where people start getting on the island and getting situated for the island and getting their seats ready. 5:30 we'll be serving our lunches and things like that. And then 8 o'clock we have a vintage aircraft that is going to be, several of them, that are going to be flying over the river. They're going to do a 4-pass, missing, I'm not really sure the exact word, but missing man formation. I'm not sure. And then at 8:30 we're going to do the parachute skydivers. And then at 10:15 we're going to start those fantastic, awesome fireworks. So we appreciate what your city does. We appreciate all the volunteers. And I see a lot of young volunteers here, and we're always looking for volunteers. So if anyone would be interested, please contact myself, and we'd be awesome to have them help us. So that's about it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Martha Brown. Martha did have a handout that's at your places, City Council. Yeah, I'm ready.
My name is Martha Brown, owner of Martha Brown Custom Builders. On March the 7th, 2022, the city issued a bid for lead service line replacement. I placed my bid. I received a letter requesting additional information to evaluate my bid. These items was provided to the city. Upon receiving $1 million bond from my bonding company, my experience, my equipment, and my financial ability to do this project has been examined and verified by my bonding company. When the city received the letter stating I would be bonded, this answers all the questions as to my qualifications. I have been in business for 31 years in the city of Saginaw. My office is located downtown Saginaw, and my shop and yard is in the city of Saginaw. I have been doing water lines and underground utility works for the past 10 years. I was contracted with Buena Vista for over 6 years to replace water line, curb boxes, and to replace sidewalk, driveways, and the streets that was removed in order to do this repair work. I worked in the city of Flint for over a $2 million contract for lead line replacement, water line location, replacing curb box, replacing sidewalks, driveways, and streets. I worked replacing water lines in the city of Saginaw, Spalding Township, and Albee Township. I was disqualified. This disqualification damages my company as far as receiving work with the city of Saginaw and other municipalities I submit bids to. On April the 12th, I submitted a good bid with fair and marketable prices. In your handout, I furnished item number 6 shows that there is favoritism and unfair practices for the contractor being recommended for this bid. I bid at $621,000, the second bidder bid at $776,000, and Roadie bid at $6,088,000 to replace a $300 curb box and stop for 1,035 homes. And item 1, 2, 6, and 19 shows how the bidder picks item to make their profits that has material costs, has low material costs. I am asking City Council not to vote to approve item number 25 on your City Council agenda. I will meet with any City Council member, the city manager, to investigate, review, and discuss the bid to make a fair decision in awarding the lead service line replacement project. In your disqualification letter, you said you were unable to get information on my company work in Flint. There is a new administration, but there is a paper trail. In my contract, over $2 million, and the invoices I submitted to Flint and was paid for the work I performed. Being informed by my bonding company about Flint project, you received information for my bonding.
Motion to extend the speaker's time for a minute and a half.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
How long?
A minute and a half.
Being informed by my bonding,
Whoa,
oh, wait.
that was approved?
Yes.
Thank you. Minute.
Give us 1 minute, Ms.
Okay.
Brown.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. Being informed by my bonding on the Flint project, you received information for my bonding for your project, and my bond would be issued. This is a contract with Martha Brown Custom Builders. My sub will be contracted for directional drilling, which is a small amount of the work to be performed. Martha Brown Custom Builders will be performing all the additional work. At this time, I'm asking City Council not to vote to approve item number 25 on the City Council agenda until further investigation is done. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm resetting my timer. Okay. Our next speaker is George Brown.
How y'all doing? Am I ready? My name is George Brown. I've been working doing underground lines for Martha Brown Custom Builders for over 10 years. I've been replacing underground water lines, repair with collar ties in the streets, running to the curb box, to the homes, in all the townships around here, including the city. Douglas Street, Genesee, and other ones. I've been doing that for over 40 years. I'm a 50-year journeyman mason. I've trained a number of men. They may not be certified, but they can do flat work. We have been disqualified for this job, which is systemic racism, is all it can be. Martha did say $1 million, but we was bonded for $5 million, is what our bond is for. I'm asking you to reject this bid that's put in front of you now, because there's items that you have that you can see that there's unfair practice here, where they took small items in order to make a large profit, no matter how the job went. So those jobs that he bid at $6 million for curb stops, you have to put the curb stop in, whether you put a new one in or an old one. So there was no reason for $6 million. And there was no reason to disqualify us under the qualification. We are professionals. We never missed a deadline in building part of the airport or any other place. The only reason that we're disqualified and maimed the way this city have done is because of what management is doing. And we would like for you to stop this. Today is Juneteenth. No matter what happens at the federal level, if you don't stop it, it don't stop. You have to do it at this level in order to change it. And I want this board to change the way the practice is happening. And this is not the first time that management have taken a job away from this company since it's been here. And this is unfair. And the only thing I can say it is, and anybody in here can see what it is. You have the paperwork, and we have all of our paperwork to show what we've done. They wouldn't even accept BV's management recommendation of us.
Motion to extend the speaker's time for a minute.
Second.
It's been moved to second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Martha Brown Custom Builders have worked, and I have worked since the 60s with my granddad building. We have trained, we run over 22 employees at different times. This city, you can walk around in it and look at the work. It's teeming with work. There's no lack of work in the city on the streets. But you don't see me. You don't see people that look like me in this diverse city. This diverse city should not look the way it looks when it comes down to the work. And not just a job. We need a contract. We need contracts that's substantial enough to put people to work that looks like the city of Saginaw. And at this time, I implore you, I plead with you to do something. Thank you, and thank you for the extra time.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is John Sinsesson.
Hi, my name is Josh. I'm here on behalf of Martha Brown Custom Builders. I'm an employee. I've done everything that this contract involves in the last 7 years in BV, in Flint, in the city of Saginaw itself. I've hooked the lines together. I've been in the hole, putting the collars together, changing the curb boxes, driven the equipment all over the city of Flint while we were there doing that. Done the flat work, was taught by my grandpa. There's no reason that we can't do the work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Our next order of business is remarks from council.
Council, you have a 3-minute limit as well. We will begin tonight with Councilwoman Annie Bench.
Good evening. Welcome to everybody. Particularly welcome to our First Ward Youth Summer Program kids. It was nice to have a chance to talk with you guys before the meeting. And we hope you get something out of the business proceedings here tonight and our conversations. As was mentioned by one of our public speakers, today is Juneteenth, and it is certainly a day that we should recognize and reflect on and celebrate. And I really want to commend the groups who put together the parade and the wonderful event of the weekend. Great weekend filled with wonderful family-friendly events that were affordable and accessible to everybody in the community. And then it was ended with the Lawn Chair Film Festival's showing of The Wiz, which was just a wonderful way to end such a weekend. I also want to thank the Saginaw Area Fireworks and Mr. Roy for the work that they do putting that program together. We always have such a wonderful fireworks show every summer. And I also want to thank our police chief and the Saginaw Police Department and my colleague Reggie Williams and the BV Police Department, because we hosted a successful gun drop-off event. We got 7 guns and a lot of ammo, which is a little bit less than what we got last time, but considering the fact that it's the second one this year, and it's a drop-off, not a buyback. People were just turning these things in out of their concern for the community and making sure that they didn't have unwanted things in their home that other people could have access to. So I want to thank Officer Pate in particular, because he hung out with me for the whole 4 hours in the park. But I really just appreciate everyone who participated, and I'm happy that we were able to do something like that again, and I look forward to doing it again if need be. So that's all I have, and thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Ostash.
Thank you, Mayor. Welcome everybody to the chamber tonight, and we have some guests with us from the First Ward area youth that were here today. It was a lot of fun to meet with you and meet some of you prior to the council meeting tonight to just talk about our local government, how it's made up. So thank you for coming and showing your interest. Also, I want to, this past week, we served breakfast to our city staff, so I do want to thank all of our city staff that helped to put that on, the volunteers that came out to that day, and also to Wannagas Credit Union and to Huntington Bank for helping finance some of that for us. Last meeting here at the council, we had a resolution for Pride Month. For the city of Saginaw. Just want to remember everybody that the celebration for this event with Great Lakes Bay Pride is this weekend in Bay City, the 25th, down in Winona Park, be from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's going to be entertainment, refreshment tent. It's a free event. There's over 50 retail vendors and resources that will be there for you that day. Great Lakes Bay Health will also be there offering free health screenings, including HIV testing, blood pressure, weight checks, COVID vaccinations, COVID home test kits, Narcan kits, and there'll also be somebody there for behavioral health. And then after that, there'll be an after show down at the Dow Center at 8 p.m. The doors open and shows start at 9. Also, want to wish everybody a belated and a happy Father's Day. It was yesterday. I had a beautiful day for the day, so I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend and enjoyed Father's Day. Again, I want to reiterate what my colleague was talking. Happy Juneteenth to everyone. We also passed a resolution for that as well at the last council meeting. I was down. I could not make the event in downtown, but I was down in Old Town for the movie last night, and it was just great to see everybody out and having a good time. And I was being encouraged to do line dancing because I was doing it in my spot, but I'll just stay behind and not try to get in the spotlight there. Jazz on Jefferson was just done over the last couple of weeks too. It was a huge success. So after being furloughed because of the pandemic, it was a great crowd, a lot of people, a lot of good food. It was just great to see everybody and hear some of the jazz bands. And it's a great event until the rain came out, but we did get a couple of hours in to enjoy that event. One of the things I talked about to our youth tonight too, just a reminder that you can adopt a park, and there's actually one of our consent agenda items tonight, somebody is actually doing that again. So when you adopt a park, you can help take care of part of the city, whether you're an entity or just a private citizen, and getting your neighbors involved just to help the city make it look better. And for those that are still picking up trash, I know there are some people out there, just let the city know that if you're cleaning a park or cleaning an area, that we can come and get the items once you're done. Just call the city's manager's office and we can make accommodations for you to do that. There is another event coming up pretty soon called Rock the Block. This is going to be down at Morley Plaza. There's going to be 2 bands, the Jerry Ross Band, also Sheriff Federspiel's band. That's going to be Friday, June 24th from 6 to 9 p.m. With that, Mayor, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have too much tonight, Saginaw. Happy Father's Day to everybody that had celebrated yesterday. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Congratulations to Ziara Simone, 11 years old, the first Miss Juneteenth in the county of Saginaw. That's a great accomplishment. That's a tradition that I hope that we continue to keep up, which we will. And it's great to see somebody that's younger being brought into the fold for our community. Thank you to Tamara Tucker, who had put on a Safe Saginaw event last Saturday. And it was a good turnout. You know, her mission, and she's the head of the Parents of Murdered Children, is to stop the violence completely. And that's a tall ask for any city currently in the nation. And she's taking it head on. I had gone to that and then done a ride along with the Saginaw City Police that night from 7 until 5. To be honest, I passed out a couple times because I was so tired. But there was another shooting that wasn't reported in the news. And, you know, we do have that problem, a violence epidemic problem in the city of Saginaw. And I don't want it to be something that's like, you know, we're not dealing with Candyman. If I mention it, it doesn't mean that it's not true. But we do need to figure out as a community how we can move forward to stop that. So I think Tamara's on the right track. Other than that, I don't have anything else. So thank you so much.
Next, we have Councilman Copeland. I'm sorry.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Father's Day to all of our fathers. Happy Juneteenth to everyone. And this week, make some time to get outside. Enjoy the beautiful air. Enjoy the sun. We don't know when it may come back, all right? So take it, use it wisely, and have a great week. Thank you.
Next, we have Mayor Pro Tem Balls.
I'd like to thank all the citizens. Did you meet?
Vote to Councilmember Lamar
Oh,
Sylvia.
I'm sorry. You know what? I started on this. I'm so sorry. Next, we have Councilwoman Lamar Sylvia.
Thank you so much,
I'm so
Mayor.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
First of all, good evening. Thank you so much for coming to City Council today to be in our presence, to see what we're doing, what we're not doing. Really appreciate it. It makes me feel so good to see so many people. Thank First Ward. It was nice them coming in and talking. I'd like to thank all the speakers that spoke. The information is definitely being looked at by myself. I also was at the Parents of Murdered Children and also Peacekeepers on last week. And we also had a job fair at the city of Saginaw. It was just so awesome. People were waiting at the door before it even started, so that was great. Soon you'll be hearing some information after I get with the city manager. He don't know I'm getting with him. And other persons that would like, seriously, I was thinking for over 20 years I worked for a youth center and ran a youth center, and I thought about, the things that are going on here in Saginaw, and I thought back, sometimes it's not as complex as what you think. So soon, I'll be knocking on your door, ringing your phone, asking you to help me to help our youth. What I'm doing is bringing the youth to the table. We have talked, we have said, we have promised, we have broken promises. What matters? Let's hear from them. Let's hear what our youth have to say. It may sound good, it may sound bad or indifferent, but it's time we need to bring them to the forefront. And then ourselves as city council, city leaders, state leaders, then we need to act accordingly. That's what I believe. So Monique Lamar Sylvia is going to be ringing your phone, knocking on your door, trying to set up a meeting, and we don't want this to take long. It don't have to take long. Let's do it, and let's bring our babies to the table, and let's hear what they have to say, what they want for their life, where they want to see our city, what direction they want to see it go in. Thank you so very much, and you all have a blessed day.
Thank you. Next, now, we have Mayor Pro Tem Ball.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to thank the mentors that brought out the First World Community Center young adults today so they can come and find out how the city operates. You guys can take the information that you got and put it in your bank account, and when you need it, you can pull it back out, and it'll pay dividends for you. I too had the opportunity to participate in the parade this weekend. It was really beautiful. Looking forward to it even growing here in the city of Saginaw. And it's ironic that we would have that parade and had the Browns here today discussing their situation. But hopefully by you guys explaining that what you can do and can't do, that maybe the city will do the right thing to help you guys out if that's what needs to be done by the city council. If we don't give people the opportunity in this city, it won't happen. There's a lot of skilled trades got jobs out here today. All over the city of Saginaw, they're asking for pipe fitters, for millwrights, for electricians, laborers. So if anybody in here know anybody that's looking for a good paying union job, please get in contact with those organizations because they really do need employees. We know there's a lot of people that's running around here, the kids that out here shooting each other, or young adults or whoever. It's kind of hard for me to believe that a person that had a full-time paying job would be out shooting people and stuff like that. It just don't. So I kind of believe that the people that's doing those type of things are not employed. So they don't care about their families or what have you. And I just don't understand that, So hopefully we can turn this tide around by getting some people some good work here in the city of Saginaw. I would like to say too that that parade was really, really, really nice. So hopefully we'll see more citizens there, and it was really great serving with the mayor and the other city council people that was here, Bill and my brother on the end down there, and Annie, for helping serve the employees the other day breakfast. When I saw those plates they was shoveling out, each one of them had 3 pancakes and I think 3 sausages on there. And I couldn't imagine nobody eating no 3 pancakes early in the morning. I'm gonna estimate they served at least, we have 300 employees. How many employees? 300-400 people here work here? So I believe they served at least over 1,100 pancakes that day. There's a lot of flipping going on. So I hope that the city employees appreciate that, and hopefully we can do it again next year. Thank you.
Last but not least, I'd like to welcome everybody again. I'd like to thank all of the public speakers for your input. I know that sometimes a lot of people don't think we hear what they're saying. We do hear. We do hear. And it is always referred to our city manager. The last 3 weeks have been a day of fun in the city for me. Anybody that knows me knows I love to be in the community. I love it, I love it, I love it. And so I have been busy showing up at every event I could think of that had young people. And if it didn't have young people, I still went. Yesterday, well, I should say starting Friday was really exciting. Friday night was the pageant where this young lady became the first African-American Juneteenth for our city. And then we turned around on Saturday, did the parade. Now I didn't do the parade. Body can only do so much when you get old. But on Sunday, I went to Morley Plaza along with over there at the Juneteenth building on 5th Street. And then from there, we went to see the Weirs. And I took a whole crew with me. We all went to the lawn chair service that's over on Hamilton Street, and we watched the Weirs. And you talking about somebody had fun, we was easing on down the road. We was clicking our heels 3 times saying, we taking our city back, we taking our city back, we taking our city back. I need for everybody to understand, now is the time. We're gonna take it back. Little by little, bit by bit. It may not seem like we're trying to change, but if you just look around, I see change in our city. Maybe not as fast as everybody wants it. My students who came from First Ward Community Center, I know it's inappropriate, so I'm going to do it anyways. Hope nobody gets upset. I need for my students in the back of the room and their leaders to stand up, please. Now, audience, look around you. We steady talk about the youth. Here's an example of some young people who we can move to the next level. And I say, give them a hand. All right, thank you. And they well behaved too. They not in here smacking gum, chewing, throwing stuff. All of our young people are not corrupt. And I need us to start treating all of our young people that way. It does not hurt to say hello, how you doing? I don't know why some people be raised, but my mama say speak to everybody. If they don't speak to me, shame on them. So if you ever see me out, I'm quick to speak to you. Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, I'm real obedient. Madam Clerk.
Our next order of business is the reports from the city manager.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So first item, I did want to congratulate Ken Licurio and Farrington Douglas and the Urban Tennis Foundation. They had their grand opening for the Garber tennis courts since our last meeting. Looks great, improves the park, and it shows their dedication to the city of Saginaw, sport of tennis, and bringing that to the residents of Saginaw. I heard from them they had over 300 people at that grand opening, so many thanks to them and all of our volunteers at the parks that helped bring new amenities to the city. The city job fair that Councilwoman Lamar Sylvia mentioned, I do want to thank the HR staff for coordinating and planning the event, and all the departments that did send people to meet with residents or anyone who was looking for a job and to tell them what was available, and just give them more information about the different jobs that are in the city. most of the departments did have staff there, and we had over 90 people did attend. As Councilman Lamar Sylvia said, they were lined up to come in before we started, and we had over 40 applications that we received. So we're in the review process with those right now. And finally, we do have a presentation tonight, and as council knows, the ARPA Idea Portal closed on the, I think it was July 13th, and the committee was provided with a list of the submitted projects. So now the long process of reviewing those projects has begun. Just for informational purposes, there were over 400 ideas or projects submitted for a request amount of over $290 million. So that's going to be a arduous process, but I know they'll do a great job reviewing those initially. So David from Guidehouse is here this evening to provide you this update on where they are right now and what their next steps.
Hello, thanks for having me. Yeah, so I just want to walk you through kind of where we are and where we're going. As I said to the committee on Thursday, this is kind of the home stretch. We've done a lot of the hard work of engaging with the community, and I think a deep way. So a real summary here by the numbers, 409 proposals or ideas. There were 38 community meetings that this committee undertook, and we spent about 6 weeks engaging with that community. You can kind of see here a summary of the different proposals by the priority group. These are the priority groups that were, of course, laid out by you, the committee or city council. Now, of course, these could have multiple. So these were selected by the people who put their proposals in, and kind of how they were spread out across those different priority groups. All of them have plenty of ideas, as you can see. So we don't have an issue in a lack of ideas for sure. What our next step is to make this digestible for everyone. We tried to group everything by theme. And I'm also starting to layer in now that eligibility framework that is laid out by the U.S. Treasury. So we're starting to kind of bring things together here. Under those themes, we bring those ideas and proposals together. So it could be an idea with just a few words, and we're trying to put that next to maybe another idea that's a fully thought out proposal, so we can see a full scope narrative on what's coming out of the community here. As you can see, these are some of the larger groups and then subgroups within. Strong, healthy communities, aid to impacted industries, small businesses, healthy childhood environments, general health, educational disparities, housing, negative economic impacts, job training, infrastructure, food, not-for-profit assistance, public safety, and finally, government services. We do have a group that's ineligible. Some of these ideas are also ineligible, actually, that are grouped ahead, but they are part of a larger narrative, and so we want to take those into account. For instance, a grant to a small business might not specifically be eligible, but we see it as part of an overall narrative that small business assistance is being requested in the community. And then just the process going forward. So these are kind of the final steps we're going in right now. The committee was given all 409 proposals, 200 of which came to us a week ago, so we are still not entirely through all of them. But we did start with that theme and narrative. How do we start grouping these? The next step is thinking about what are the collaboration opportunities out there as we look at this, and how can we ideate off this? What are ideas that might exist between two ideas? How can we build off what the community's already provided? Finally, we want to cement kind of a vision. What does that mean that we can bring back to you? And then those final decisions. So we're hoping that vision is broad enough that gives you room to work, while also clear enough and backed up with our explanations so that you've got that information to make decisions with. So then those next steps, we've got a meeting next week, Thursday, where we're just going to start having a discussion through each theme that we've got, understanding it, and talk through collaboration ideas as they come up. And then we do have a goal, which may be ambitious, though we've hit every goal that we have set so far, to be complete with our report by mid-July. That is our goal. As I said, We are being ambitious here, but we are working as hard as we can to get there. So with that, that's all I've got. Any questions?
Do you have any questions?
I had a few. Anybody else?
Go ahead.
Thanks. For like the strong, healthy communities, parks and green space, or anything that would have to do with governmental services, would we be able to use the lost revenue funds for that, or would that be a separate bucket?
I would not recommend using lost revenue, as they are, for the most part, directly allowed within ARPA.
What was that?
They have their own category, so we wouldn't need to use lost revenue for that. Those parks, all the parks exist within a qualified census tract that were presented to us. Those are entirely eligible under ARPA.
Mm-hmm. And so that's under the public health and safety portion of it?
Yes, that would be under public health and safety. Yep.
Okay. But there's no overlap of any governmental services or lost revenue, or of the 409 proposals, how many were city staff proposals?
Oh boy, 20s, something like that.
39 it was originally?
I think the amount that actually came in.
Yeah. 480.
We have listed those out. I can get that to you.
Okay, and you have my email?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I did send all of those to council though. So each of those was entered into the portal by the, whatever department would do the work. But as I mentioned to a few council members, please keep in mind those, what we entered doesn't necessarily mean those are city projects. I entered 3 projects into the portal myself, one of which was for Fairgrounds demolition project, which is something we met with the Neighborhood Association and the Saginaw Housing Commission about. City entered it, that doesn't mean it's a city project. I also entered a Riverfront Gateway project, which is a subcommittee of the Riverfront Development Commission. It's a project that they took on, and various businesses have been involved in that. I entered that. That doesn't necessarily make it a city project. And then a third one that I entered was ideas about grants to neighborhood associations, so that what is coming from city departments isn't always just something that benefits city operations.
So if they came from city staff, those would be individual proposals by individuals that...
Nope, that's what people are referring to as city projects. So these 3 that I entered will be in the 39 included as what people are referring to as city projects.
Yeah, that's what we had talked about.
Yes.
That those would be city. If they were coming from you, they would be city, but there's others that are being proposed by city staff members that are not city?
No, anything that came from a city staff member is being classified by the committee as a city project, which to me is somewhat of a misnomer. It kind of comes from what the media reported after our meeting where we talked about it, but every project entered by city staff, it could benefit several areas. And we did the same submission that any other organization did. Who does it benefit? What's the budget? Who's responsible for it? So they're just similar to every other entry.
Thank you. So the timeline now is mid-July.
That's the goal.
Correct. Originally, when I had proposed to get cameras and microphones available or just microphones, it was going to not be necessary because they would be due in June, but we're moving the deadline now to mid-July. Is that correct?
So the timeline, since I at least started the community engagement, was going to be end of June. We did then move the deadline 2 weeks, as was requested by the committee. So then that does put us at mid-July.
Do we know how many members of the public showed up to the 38 meetings in total? Do we have an attendance record or?
No, we did not have an attendance record on that.
Okay, I think that those are all my questions. Thank you.
Councilwoman Lamar.
Thank you so much for your presentations. I've been to some of the meetings, and I would ask the other council members, if you have time, come to some of the meetings, even some of you all that put in proposals to come to the meetings. What I wanted to know, a question arose from Councilman Flores. I'm wondering, could not city staff, in their own right, without being could they not have presented a proposal? Is Joe Blow works for the city, but Joe Blow has an idea that has nothing to do with the city. The city employees could not done that?
Yeah, and anyone could,
Okay.
anyone could submit an idea into the portal.
Okay.
You had to identify who you were and still complete the process. So yeah, if someone worked for the city and they had an idea, you know, for something.
And it wouldn't be called city?
Right.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to know.
Yep,
Thank you.
Yep, David has has the list that were entered by city staff that were in our list that we provided to council, and he's provided that information to the committee.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, I will make sure. Not Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem Balls.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
doing the ARPA proposal and the guidelines say that we can reimburse the city for lost revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, now, if the city have lost revenue, now we putting this money in the coffers for the city.
Yep.
Is there a specific place that that money have to be used for?
Yes.
Please explain.
So I'm not a fan of this first sentence, which is you're reimbursing the city.
Okay.
Because you're actually paying for future costs of the city. So it is a slight change, but it is an important accounting change. You're paying for future projects that the city may do. That project could be anything under the purview then of the city if you're using that lost revenue fund for. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. I mean,
Yep.
because, you know, the city had put in some proposals, and now we got this extra money, which is going to be extra money because whatever happened last year happened, and we paid for it, and we moved on. So now the city's gonna be $20 million richer. So we can use some of that money for some of the projects, the future projects that the city would like to do, if I'm correct, sir.
You are.
All right, thank you. Okay. Mayor Moore?
Any other questions?
Yes. And I want to make sure I heard right. Our total of requests from projects is $290 million?
Yes.
Okay. So in mid-July, when we get, is there any information prior to it being presented to us where, you know, you mentioned that one of them was ineligible? Has anything gone out to those particular?
No, and I don't want to go there because per the comment that was just made, anything, if there is a revenue replacement dollars available,
Gotcha.
ineligible projects suddenly become eligible under almost every circumstance. And so there's some flexibility there. I'm operating right now under the auspices that we don't have revenue replacement dollars to use, but we are going to move forward with the idea that if it became available, we're going to be ready to act.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So I have a question. So, David, let me understand, because I don't know, all council people, we've all been getting budgets, we all know what's going on. We also know that our census count is down. So we've got some other revenue that we're gonna lose, CBDG, we've got other things that we're gonna lose. So however, when we continue to move forward and we talk about rebuilding, and I guess this is just an ask of me from my fellow colleague, I want you to understand, whatever the city picks up, let's be honest with each other, if it is going to make the city better, it's not just a city project. A good example was when Manager Morales mentioned about the fairgrounds. How many of us have talked about how it looks? So, just because the city asked for it does not mean the city trying to take over. And I guess I really want the 8 of us to understand there's a partnership with us. It's not all about who's got the big thing and who's gonna get the money. It's all about moving this city forward. And so every time I hear and I sit and I listen, I'm like, Lord, please understand, this is not an I thing, it's a we thing. We, the citizens, want better. We, the citizens, are gonna make it better. We, the council, are gonna work with we, the citizens, so that we can get to the next level. I just wanted to say that, because I think all too many times We're looking for a miracle from you, David, and it's not there because of the revenue that we're steady losing. And while we sit up here, we're losing revenue. When is the last time I've seen any of y'all in Lansing even talking about going to Washington? When is the last time? When is the last time we came in and said, city manager, here's a place that's writing a grant? When's the last time you did that? It's not to chastise or to be mean to any of my colleagues, because I have to examine myself every day. I can't point my finger at nobody but me. So I just wanted to say that I'm transparent. Instead of everybody talking about what I'm saying it. Brenda Moore is saying, we have a responsibility to the community to work for the community. This is not no friendship thing going on. So,
Thank you
Mayor
very
Pro
much.
Tem.
Hey, it's good to know, that money that's going back in the coffers can be used for some of the other projects too. You know what I'm saying? So, people that's thinking that maybe we're just gonna get $30 million for the projects and that's it. Well, we know the money's going back in the city coffers, and some of those other wishes that the city would like to do, we can move some of that money over to some of those projects too. So I think all the citizens would like to know that, instead of thinking that it's just going into the city bank account, it's just gonna sit there, okay? So it's up to us, as the people, the managers, the city manager, to make sure that happens. So, thank you.
Any other questions of Mr. David? Yes.
Comment question.
Yes, ma'am.
But the ultimate goal is to have this money accounted for and spent by 2026. Okay, thank you.
Not giving a dime back.
No, you get no money back.
We get no
We spend
money
it
back.
all, right here. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get no money back, so if y'all think we finna get some money back, the city of Saginaw don't get no money back, okay?
And that, Mayor, that includes the portion that is lost revenue. That never goes into city coffers. That money has to be spent by the end of the
Right.
grant period as well.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball had another
Have
question.
we identified any other proposals that can be morphed into something else, where we can write some grants from the state or from the federal government? Some of those?
It's still a little unclear about that money, though. It feels like we're starting to get close to know exactly what those grants are gonna look like. That's my best answer right now. We're hearing whisperings. I don't have anything solid to put in front of you. I'm dying for it myself, so I can make better choices for all the governments I work for.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
I had one real quick. Had you entertained extending the amount of your contract, or are you pretty solid that the amount that we had allocated is going to be?
I think we're at 5% so far.
5%.
So I'm feeling pretty comfortable with our ability to stay within the,
For the total amount?
yeah.
I think that amount is kept under the grant guidelines.
Yes, it is.
No, not this,
No, it's
not,
not.
yeah,
Contract.
it's not,
Okay.
which is
We'll keep
surprising,
track of it.
because normally it is.
I'm asking to keep track of it publicly, yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'd rather for you to ask them in here than go out in the streets and then say you didn't get a chance. Any other questions? Hearing none.
And that concludes the management update.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Thank you. The consent agenda has been available at City Hall and on City Web and on SGTV channel 191. I need a motion to approve all agendas, leaving room for exception.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Do we have any exceptions?
I got an exception, number
I do
25.
too.
Okay, you got 25.
Is that what he said, 25? Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Anybody else have any exceptions? Madam Clerk?
Do you want to take a vote on the other items?
Oh, I'm sorry. We need to take a vote on the other items, leaving room for exception number 25. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed by nay. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 25 is approve the contract with Roadie Brothers Excavating Incorporated for $7,154,333 for the lead service line replacement project for the Public Service Department Engineering Division. That was Mayor Pro Tem Balls and Councilmember Lamar Sylvia.
Do we have anyone to answer any questions in the audience? Mayor Pro Tem Balls?
Yeah, I just, we talking about $4.5 million, 7.17 million, a little bit over $7 million. And I would like to give these people a chance to see if they can do that work for that amount of money instead of spending $7 million for that project. And the way I understand it, that when we first did this project, the $4.5 million was for all the lines, if I'm not mistaken, sir?
So let's first, I would ask Phil to give council an overview about the review process that they get when they have bids like this.
Yeah, if I could. So on April 12th, the city took bids for what was the lead service line replacement project. It's the first of its kind for us. I think you're all familiar with the new requirements for the lead galvanized. And so a year or two ago, we applied for some funding through the state. It was a loan. We asked for principal forgiveness. It was the Booker funds, which, I mean, there's timelines to all this stuff too. So we asked for, I think, just over $5 million. We were granted just over $4.4 million. So we put a project together, assuming 1,000 lines was the quantity of the services we were hoping we could do. We got the bids. There were 3 bids received on April 12th. Martha Brown was the lowest bid at $4.578 million. The next bid was $10.22 million, and then the third bid was $10.5 million. So within the contract documents, especially when there's a contractor or a bidder that we're not familiar with, the city of Saginaw, we're not familiar with Martha Brown Custom Homes, Custom Builders LLC, so there's a process spelled out within the bid documents that we have to follow to guarantee that this work can be performed as bid to the requirements as part of the specifications. And there's, so some of the stuff that some of the speakers spoke about earlier that is standard processes. I mean, we've had several contractors that have bid larger projects of this size that we had no knowledge of, that we go through this process that's spelled out within the contract documents. It's part of our responsibility and due diligence to ensure that a project of this size can be completed at that kind of money. And through that process, we ask for references. Can you provide references from other municipalities or where you've done this similar type of work, which we've done? Your financial backing, I mean, $4.5 million. We have to ensure there's a lot of material and supplies you have to buy up front. You have to be able to finance that because you don't get paid until you put stuff into the ground. We don't pay for stored materials or anything like that. And then how much equipment? Do you have the ability? Do you own equipment? Do you have to rent equipment? And I mean, there's just a list of other things. So we asked that of Martha Brown. We sat down and met, and they provided some stuff. And the city of Flint, some people earlier had mentioned Flint. We spoke to them. So when I say we, I'm talking about your Director of Public Services, your Deputy Director of Public Services, your Director of Water and Wastewater Treatment, your Deputy Director of Water and Wastewater Treatment, your City Engineer, and representatives from Spicer, because Spicer's overseeing some of the construction administration for us for a project of this size. And I mean, I can get into details, but Flint wasn't favorable. The project that Martha Brown had with Flint, at least what we were told from an account administrator and the director of Public Works, was that the total amount of work to be performed wasn't, because there were issues. And they also said they wouldn't recommend Martha Brown for another project. So that's very concerning to the city. I don't like to hear it, but we got to do our due diligence. The other thing, a subcontractor that Martha Brown wants to use, a majority of this project is directional drilling, not open cut. We want to save some costs, so the more you open cut, the more pavement restoration, slope restoration you have to do. The more you can bore underground, the less that you have to do. Well, their subcontractor, W.T. Stevens, for the boring is currently under litigation in Flint, and they're having issues with leaky basements for where they put the services going through the walls. So this is the kind of information we're getting back through our vetting process, and it's very concerning to us. So, and the project for Flint was nothing to do with putting in lead lines or putting in copper or other lines to replace lead. It was for hydro excavating to do the investigation and then the restoration for such, but not to replace the lines. That's the information we got. So, and then the other reference was Buena Vista. We talked to Miss McAfee over there, and she had no knowledge of them doing any lines. They fixed some curb stop boxes, they fixed some gate valve boxes, but not a project of this magnitude, this quantity. So with all that information, we can't afford to attempt to let them start this project and have it not work, because that process to remove somebody from a contract we probably could stand to lose the funding, and it's just, the information we were given from all of the people I told you that were part of this team could not support recommending the project to Martha Brown.
How many boxes are they supposed to do a day?
Huh?
How long is this contract for?
The end date is November, it's a 3-year, it's November of 2025.
That's 3 years, and how many boxes are they supposed to do a day?
Depends on who they are. I can't speak for, like I said, I have no information to their ability to do any of them, because any project I was given as a reference doesn't state they ever put in a water service line. They've done slope restoration, which might include a little bit of sidewalk repair, driveway, but not the installation of the lines themselves. So I couldn't speak to, and every line's different. It depends on what you run into. I mean, where does the line come in? Where's the meter in the house? Because you got to get into the houses. Some of these require meter relocations. We're going to a different type of pipe, so every service needs a ground wire, and you got to ground your electrical out to the grounding. So does it have a porch? Does it have trees? Does it have, I mean, it could vary.
How long is the season? Well, maybe I can ask the question a different way. How long is the season to be able to put the boxes in? Can we put it, they start in the spring and work up until when? The past
Sure.
fall, winter?
Yeah, I mean, in order to do your patches, that's all required on your plant, your asphalt plant being open, or temperatures for you to place concrete. And then when you backfill your material, you can't have frozen temperatures, because you have to get compaction on your sand backfill. If you got an open cut, in order to get compaction, you can't have a frozen material. So I would say that a majority of the season would be like April, May through, November 15th, when they close the asphalt plants.
Yes, sir.
I just have 2 quick questions. This information that you're sharing with us,
Just a point of order. I think we just have an objection, but we have no motions yet. So it would be Mayor Pro Tem Balls and Councilmember Lamar Sylvia
to ask their initial questions.
Right.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. One of my questions would be, have you ever contracted with other entities that had something that wasn't favorable? That wasn't favorable, but everything else was good? No. Or you never had?
I believe we've one for sure, maybe 2 that we disqualified the bid, because again, it was a similar situation on a different type project. But a bigger project, for instance, that we did this same process through was when we did the Davis Road water main. There was a $20 million that we had Zito Construction, never heard of them. We asked for all the same information, going through the references, similar type of work, where it had the financial ability to finance that type of project. So I would say.
And, okay, I guess this is more or less not a question, but a statement, because I don't know about other councils. I just got this information tonight, and for me to look over it, study it, ask other questions, it wouldn't be fair to me to be able to make a decision when it's so much to read through and go back and forth with the company, the city. So it'd be unjust for me to be able to make a decision this evening, because I don't have all the information and I haven't been able to go through all of this information. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
No, ask for the motion now.
Okay, I'm asking for the motion. All those in favor of, what is the motion?
We need someone to make a motion.
Motion to postpone the,
No, motion to approve.
what's that?
The agenda item is to approve.
Right.
That's what's before you. Oh, let me get back to it. Is to approve the contract with Roadie Brothers Excavating, etc.
Right.
What's listed on your council communication. That's your action.
So,
You made exception to that, so.
Right.
That should be your motion.
and so our motion should be on the exception that was made. Okay, I'm lost, Ms. Jan, help me.
Is it to approve or disapprove?
It says to approve. You want to word your motions in the positive. So when you vote yes, it means yes, and when you vote no, it means no.
Okay.
So,
No.
okay.
So there's a motion on the floor.
I'll make a motion to approve number 25.
There's a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Motion dies.
Okay. Motion is dead.
So are we able, I'm sorry, are we able to have discussion or make a motion to table? Or?
No, you would have
Motion
needed a
died.
You wouldn't
second.
need
in order
to,
be
no.
discussion.
Motion's gone.
Okay,
The motion's dead.
no more discussion.
So for informational purposes, Phil, do you want to tell them what happens
Yeah,
to this money?
So right now, the city, we're in fourth quarter funding for the state, which means, and we've already asked for 3 or 4 extensions. There's only 1 extension left, and it's not a guarantee they'll give it to us. And if we don't have a contract approved and a resolution approved by July 6th, we lose the funding. And there are no longer any more Booker funds, so the city can have the ability to reapply for a loan, but there's no principal forgiveness, so the $4.5 million that we're being given is gone. So we can put a request into the state to see if they'll let us go into the 4.5, their 4.5 quarter funding, which has to have approval by August 17th, but that's not a guarantee. So at this point, if a contract and a resolution aren't awarded by July 6th, the project and the funding will go away.
So, from our viewpoint, it makes no sense to do this as a loan because we do this work ourselves.
Right.
So we'll just continue to do the work ourselves if we don't get this grant funding.
Okay, because my thing was going to be, I understand deadlines, believe that, but I want to make a sound decision. I want to look over the information. So let's get busy, let's roll our sleeves up, and let's get to it before the 6th, if we can possibly do that, and come to a conclusion. I don't know if we would have an emergency council meeting so we could vote on that, but yeah, let's get with it.
It seemed to me because of COVID, they should allow us to get another extension.
We can apply.
I think the motion's done.
Yes.
It's
Well,
dead.
He's giving us information, we give him information back. We know the motion is dead.
Just in follow-up to the potential ask for a special meeting, because there are no additional council meetings before July 6th.
Right.
But it would be, there would need to be some sort of bring back motion, I would think, in order for.
Well, they could make another motion to approve and get a second. They could do the same motion. Because right now, there's no motion to bring back.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that the original contractor that was deemed the job at the first time be able to do the job. Martha Brown's was awarded the bid. I'd like to make a motion that we let them do the bid.
They were never awarded.
Is that proper, ma'am?
Say that again, you want to,
I'd like to make a motion that we award the bid to the original people who won the bid in the first place. Martha Brown Builders.
I don't think they were originally awarded. I'm gonna question probably the
That's what I
director or
wanted
the
to
city manager,
They wanted
because
to
they were disqualified, correct?
Right. Yeah, they were never awarded.
They
They
were
were
never awarded.
disqualified based on being able to provide the information to guarantee that, in our opinion, they're able to perform this size of a project, so.
I thought their bond proves to them they can do the job or not.
We don't get a bond until you award a contract. once you make a recommendation for award, the contractor's required to start giving you your performance guarantee, all your other bonds for the project. There was never been an award recommendation, so there's a bid bond that became part when they bid the project, but there are no performance bonds or any other construction type bonds to, until you are given a letter of award recommendation for the contract. And that hasn't been done with Martha, for reasons, again, that this isn't every contract we bid. So if we're not careful on how we handle this one, I mean, where do we start drawing the line on, and again, your director and city engineer and everybody else's opinions of the information were gathered. You know, I mean, this could be precedent setting, I guess. It's contract requirements that we're supposed to go through to guarantee the city will get a good project completed. And from having that previous history, again, there's no previous history that any of this work on this magnitude's been performed with this company. I mean, again, for that price, it would be.
That's why I asked you how many days if you got, the way I figured it, you got 3 years to do this. You got about 6 to 7 months that you can put lead lines in. So you're looking at 210 days to put in at least 2 lines a day. And if you take off the weekends, you're taking off another 30 days maybe. So now you're looking at, they got 180 days to put in the average. If you're gonna do 700 lines, that means they gotta put in at least 2 a day. For 180 days, that means you got 360 lines you can put in. And they only gotta put in 700 lines. So that means that you got 2 years worth of work at 180 days. You can get that done in 2 years. If you put in 2 lead lines a day. If you stretch it out to 3 lines a day, now you're looking at maybe 1.3 lines a week.
Yeah, it's just not putting the lines in. You got to remember now, you got backfilling, compaction, concrete restoration, cure time on the concrete, topsoil placement, seeding,
Madam
asphalt.
Clerk,
I mean,
Mayor,
it's.
we have a dead motion, no further motions, and
Yeah, there was no second to his motion. We weren't clear on what his motion was, and I don't think it's appropriate motion to have been made.
right, if any additional motions other than bringing this
Yeah.
one back to the
To be in
table
continued
would be under
discussion.
miscellaneous, yeah.
Yes, I would agree.
Okay, so we'll pick this back up under miscellaneous if we need to. Is that what I'm hearing?
The motion that was brought is dead since it was
Right,
voted.
I knew the motion was dead. I said that from the beginning.
Yes.
So, we move right along. Madam Clerk.
Okay, next on your agenda is board, commission, and committee reports.
I need a motion. I have 2 appointments.
Reports.
Oh, I'm sorry, the reports. Anybody got anything they'd like to speak about in their reporting systems? The 911 board will meet on Wednesday, and we've just hired a new director for the 911 board. I'm gonna give the students a chance because they've been with us since 3 o'clock today, so I'm sorry, everyone. We're gonna give them a chance to leave. Thank you all so much for coming. Okay, so, do we have, anyone else need anything they need to report for boards and commission? Moving right along, Madam Clerk.
We are at appointment of board and commission members.
I need a motion to accept leaving room for exceptions.
So moved.
It's been moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, we are at resolutions. Our first one is to adopt administrative services agreement with Michigan Employees Retirement System.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved in support. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
The second one is establishment of an obsolete property rehabilitation district at 101 North Washington Avenue and 111 East Genesee Avenue.
I need a motion to adopt, please.
Support.
It's been moved in support. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Our third resolution is tentatively award a construction contract to Roadie Brothers Excavating Incorporated for water system improvements.
I got a question on that.
Do we have a motion?
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Can't discuss it if we don't.
Now can we ask the question?
This is the same one we just kicked that out in 25. If we do this, we'll be giving it right back to them.
I'll let the city manager address your question.
Yeah, you probably would just not want to pass this.
They go
This
together.
is, the reason why there are two things on here.
Okay.
Part of their process, they require, rather than our consent agenda, they require a resolution.
So we got a motion on the floor.
But if there were additional questions relating to this project, they would be appropriate at this time.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Madam Mayor, may I address our city manager through city staff?
Yeah.
All right. The two questions, thank you for bringing additional information. Mine is short, let me find my notes. In the letter, it did mention that they did not meet the financial documentation. So although a bid bond was provided, we do not take that as guaranteed dollars.
What are you asking me now?
So he shared that there was a $5 million bond that was supported from their bond agent. We put that there is no financial evidence. It's because it was a bid bond and
No. not. The financial evidence was to look at their assets, their capital asset worth, their net income in order to be able to financially, in order to make the money, you got to be able to buy the material, pay your labor and all that, and then recoup those costs. From the financial information we seen and the size of the project, we weren't confident in the fact that they would be able to perform that on this project.
Bill, can I ask a follow-up on that? Yeah. On Councilman's question. Have you received a bid bond for this project?
We received a bid bond. The bid cannot be accepted if you don't give a bid bond as part of the bid. So the bid bond is entered into at the time of bid. If the bid bond's not included, then your bond's rejected.
But not a performance.
Not a performance. There's several other requirements. Once you get award of the contract, like a performance bond, and then that would have to be in the full amount of the contract. The bid bond is only in, I don't know what it is, 5% of the total bid or something like that. But the performance bond, you have to get that in the full amount of the contract.
Okay. And then the second question I have is, so this information that you shared with us, are disqualified contractors able to contact the city to get that same information?
Sure.
Thank you.
So we have a motion on the floor, right?
Mhm. And a second,
And a second.
and you're still in discussion.
And we're still in session. And this one, I'm gonna ask you to read what the motion is again. What's the motion?
Motion is tentatively award a construction contract to Roadie Brothers Excavating Incorporated for water system improvements.
Okay, I'm call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay.
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 Okay.
Madam Clerk,
Next order of business is miscellaneous business.
do we have any miscellaneous business?
We do.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
have a closed session to discuss pending litigation in Cynthia Rose and the Daniel Rice cases. And that's per MCL 15.8, Section E.
Motion to go into closed session?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All those in favor signify by.
Need a roll.
I was gonna say, don't we need a roll call vote, please?
Williams is absent. Councilmember Bench.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Balls.
Yes.
Councilmember Scherzer is absent. Councilmember Ostache.
Yes.
Councilmember Flores.
Yes.
Councilmember Copeland.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamar Sylvia.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We have 7 yes and 2 absent.
So, yeah. I need a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve legal counsel recommendation as discussed in closed session regarding pending litigation in the Cynthia Rose and Daniel Rice cases.
Support.
It's been moved and support. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed,
Nay.
roll call vote.
Councilmember Bench.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Balls.
Yes.
Councilmember Scherzer is absent. Councilmember Ostache.
Yes.
Councilmember Flores.
No.
Councilmember Copeland.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamar Sylvia.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams is absent. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We have 6 yes and 1 nay. The motion is approved.
Madam Clerk.
You are still under miscellaneous business if there's any additional business.
Is there any additional
Motion to
motions that
adjourn.
we like to do? I know it's inappropriate, but I have one of my MML mayors from another city here. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Ms. Moore.
Motion to suspend the rules if she'd like to come up and speak.
Motion to adjourn.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Hold on a second, please. If you guys give me a minute, please. If you don't mind. What are we gonna do about this, contract with the Browns? They disqualified? Or do they have to go back to the board and talk to the,
Got it on hold.
They were disqualified, from what I understand.
So there is no contract with anybody.
With nobody
going
has a
forward.
Now you have no
contract.
contract for the
I
project.
I think Mr. Carwa indicated that if we lose the funding, the city will probably
just have
just
to do it
perform the
ourselves.
work internally.
all right. Well,
Yep, the reason why we put the bid out is because we had extra money, so if we don't have the money, we won't put another bid out.
and the city would prefer to pay for it and not let them do the work, and that'll be on the city, I guess.
We're required to replace the lead lines, aren't we?
Correct.
Right.
Well, we'll see.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved to second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Ayes have it. Everybody have a good weekend.